everybody. Welcome to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Here we are, one big family. I got 3 guests with us. 2 of them have always been here. And you know what? I literally don't think any of them have ever done introductions. Am I right, Josh? You introduced yourself for Jeff? No?
We might have at one point in time.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. But anyways, I got a third person with me. So no, you're gonna introduce yourself because that's what we're supposed to be doing, and we never introduce each other. So I'm, you know me.
Oh no,
Mr. Team Fish Knuckles ourselves.
Professional.
Huh?
The consummate professional.
Yeah, dude. I started the interview thing like 10 years ago. Okay, come on now. Anyways,
you started the internet.
The first Poketuber.
The first Pokemon YouTuber. Anyways, we're here to talk about Toronto and anything else Pokemon related we want to, because this is my YouTube channel and I do whatever I want. This video is sponsored by American Dad. Use code American Dad at G Fuel for 15% off. And if that doesn't work, email them. I don't know. I don't know how it works. If you want to buy his displays you see over there, go to AmericanDad.com. It doesn't work, but just pretend it does and order you a display today. All right, anyways. So, Josh, you go first. Introduce yourself. Tell us about you and your Pokemon life.
Hi, everyone. My name is Josh. I have been playing since 2012.
That's great. All right, Courtney, your turn. Yeah. Introduce yourself now.
Yeah, so I'm Courtney. I do not really play Pokemon, so I've been attending.
All right, Dale, your turn. If you say that's an introduction. You get one shot.
That wasn't even a rule.
You said It's my channel. I make the rules up. Next person.
My government name is Jeff, or J like the letter. I've been playing Pokemon for 10 years. Feels like an eternity.
All right, and we are done. Thank you very much. So you only get one shot. If you say that's not a way to introduce yourself. So we're gonna talk Toronto. Yeah. So let's talk about this. Let's do this first, okay? I want to talk about this. It's very important. Courtney, so this weekend, when you go, you're not playing, right? You're spectating.
That is correct.
All right, for anybody that has spectators, what are your top 3? I have to do this every tournament. Is that I gotta find a spot to sit at? I gotta find where my people at? What are your big 3? If you had to give advice to 3 spectators, 3 your 3 top advice.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, and don't you dare cut me off for saying there.
No, that's fine. This is legit. This is legit. Because I don't think people have some people have Poke Dads on there, right? Watch my son play, or you really don't have ever have a talk with spectators, the girlfriends, their wives, the whatever, right? You don't really hear this side of things. And I think there's a big people that go out there that don't play at all.
It's super true, and I've met some really cool people along the way, just in different tournaments that we've been to. But for me, the biggest things, the first thing is that I just make sure that these 2 hooligans get to the tournament. So that's number 1 is hey, I'm aware that as a spectator, I'm going to be the person who is making sure that they're getting to the venue, that they're there on time. And if I need to go park the car because I'm dropping their rear ends at the door, that's what's happening. So first of all, is just making sure timeliness is going to be the key thing in everything that's happening, because realistically the focus isn't on me, the focus is on the player. And so I'm there as someone who is wanting to make sure that others are taken care of, whatever that looks like. Next thing would be establishing my spot, or my area. Usually I let the first round start, let it happen, figure out what tables are open. So I always go to the very back, the bottom tables of Masters, and then I pick a table number, and then I send that out to the group and let them know, hey, I'm at table 780, because then that gives them a secure spot of knowing that's exactly where I'm going to be at that point in time when they're done. And I do not leave that spot until they're done, at least with their round 1. Gets them a chance to come back to a central space. And then from there, number 3 is knowing when each division is having their lunch break, because I base what I do off of that, because I will go, if I know that Masters are having their lunch break in between round 3 and 4, during round 3, I'm gonna go get lunch and get it ready, prepared for folks that are playing, because guess what? Again, I'm there really just as that person that's like helping and making sure that all of you are taken care of as the day's happening.
There we go. Josh or Jay, is there anything else want to like say that like Courtney does that maybe like she maybe missed that you think that she does like oh no like every regional like she does this and it's like helpful in our sense kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
kind of just what she said, the snacks. I mean, that's huge for me. Like, people who are like, oh, I just don't eat. Like, okay, well, you should, first of all. But second of all, I can't imagine. Yeah, I mean, honestly, she wears a lot of hats, and I can't imagine, like, a group not having a Courtney or not having that person. Like, I know people who go to tournaments by themselves, just as individual or, like, as a, whatever. I used to go to tournaments and, like, I can tell you that it's a much more pleasurable experience when you have that home base person set up and that supporting staff. Even though it can feel like she wears a lot of hats sometimes, I'm appreciative of all the hat wearing.
And I will make you
Yeah,
snacks. That's a true thing.
Yeah, the snacks are great. Another thing that like is super important is like staying hydrated. A lot of the convention centers we have been at this year have not had the best access to water.
Or any.
And or any access to water. I know in like Peoria it was put behind like kind of a paywall. It was
The
only
paywall.
available for like
Yeah.
VIP guests. So like having access to that is super important because um it 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 helps to stay hydrated because it makes you more focused on the gameplay. And all of these players that are, talking about, oh, I don't eat or drink anything when I play, I just have one question, and it's how do you do it? Because like my body can't handle it. So I don't know. Having that spectator person to kind of helps like scout out all of the amenities is super important. So
Also, just like a comfortability thing, like, okay, we're all meeting at table 979 every round. Like, that's where all the homies are. It's where all the friends are. That's where your support is. If you need to let it all out, if you had a bad round, or you want to tell them, oh, I just beat so and so, So it's just like it's good to have that spot or that person.
Yeah, and speaking of home base, I mean we've seen I think it's day 2 events you could pay like $200 or $100 whatever it is to have like a home base and like you have a spectator somebody there with you, like that's literally free, and people would pay like hundreds of dollars to have this. I mean, I think Azul even said like, oh, he and his friends would spend like $300 just to be guaranteed a spot somewhere every single time. So I think it's something really cool. Like in kind of what you said too as well that we need to touch on is like emotional support too. Like all the friends could be doing bad, and Courtney's like, fuck it, like what are we doing? We're just having fun, like.
Let's go to the aquarium. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's cool to have like some like eyesight or hindsight or something of like somebody not playing Pokemon and be like, that sucks, Adele. You'll be do better next time, buddy. Go get them, kind of thing. Slap on the button, let's go. So I think that is something cool. Like I said, I don't think something we don't really talk about, and some insight on the spectator side. So I thought that was pretty cool.
The other thing that I would say that's like super, I don't know, super important from like the spectator perspective is like, especially depending on like the size of the event that you're at, but like keeping yourself aware at all times, just from like, again, you're wanting to look out for your friends that are players, but also just like people that are playing. And unfortunately, we do see a lot of like difficult moments, or if there's someone getting upset, or if there could even be potentially like cheating happening. Like if you see that, you're gonna want to say something, and it just gives people that much more confidence in knowing that like this group of people is like protected and taken care of. And that's what you can do as a spectator too, is just providing support in that way.
Mm.
Another set of eyes on the team can never hurt, right?
Yeah, true. And then one thing too, I know Courtney, you've been in trouble for this, but I know everybody appreciates this. I know these two guys can say it. Is like having your picture taken while you're playing Pokemon, right? I don't think people understand how cool that is. But like, I got a picture of me playing Pokemon, right? And it might seem silly, But like when Doug more slowly used to be around and take pictures of people, right? People are like, I hope I get my picture made by Doug. Like they don't even care if like they made day 2. Like I got a Doug picture. Like literally people used to make Facebook posts about that. Now we don't have anybody who does that. So having a friend or somebody take your picture while you're playing Pokemon, once again, it seems like so minuscule. You're like, what are you talking about? Your picture? Like who cares? But like there's pictures of me playing like certain competitors or like somebody's taking my picture. I know I'm losing in that picture, and it's just like a moment capture. Be like, yep, that's when I definitely was losing. Going, I got 0-2 there, but at least I got my picture taken, and like that memory is there forever in a picture. So that's something cool as well. That like spectators are having somebody there with you is something that I think people take for granted sometimes because like it's just cool because now there's not a person actually taking photos of direct players like we used to have with like Doug. So
Yeah, certain events have their teams that do take
I think
photos,
it's
but it
day
seems like
2.
yeah,
I
day 2
think.
has like a team that does it, but it's very like centralized on top players and like day 2 events. But having that friend to kind of just cheer you on in those moments is super important. Um, and we see people taking pictures all the time, and people, some of the judging staff thinks sometimes that it might be giving the players an unfair advantage, but as soon as you walk through those doors, you essentially are consenting to having your likeness photographed or recorded, whether it be like on the stream camera where they do like the zoom above, or whether it be by other spectators. And like you said, getting your picture taken when you're playing against like a notable player is something kind of cool to have commemorated. So super appreciative of all the people that are out there taking photos of each other. So it's a really cool thing to see with the community, especially when like people after the tournament are always like posting their like group photos and whatnot. So
yeah, for sure. All right, so unfortunately, we're gonna talk about Pokemon just for a second because we talked. When we went to what was it? Peoria. We did a thing right about Peoria. I don't think the meta's changed too much. I think the cool thing to talk about so much or so far with the meta is like what are the top 3 decks going to this weekend? You're like, okay, these are definitely the most played 3 decks. Josh, you go first because you're looking down. Yeah, most played 3 decks. Well, that's the question. Not the best.
So
most played.
Yeah. So as far as what do you think the meta share is going to be, right?
Correct.
I don't know. I think we kind of have to disregard the meta and Lily because it was just kind of all over the place. And one of the big things that when I look at tournament results is I see what matchups people had hit. And so like if I'm playing Mew, and I see that the past few events had maybe like an 8% rate of Charizard, I think, well, can I dodge Charizard 92% of the time? Which I'm not lucky enough to do that. I usually hit the bad matches. But looking at the meta that was kind of like in Sacramento, Peoria, I would say probably the top 3 decks are probably going to be Lost Zone, whether it's Turbo or Kyogre, Charizard, and I want to say we're probably going to see like an uptick in Lugia. Because of its win rate against Lost Box. Um, so far 2 of the 3 NA regionals have been taken down by Lost Box, and I think Colorless Lugia deals really, really well with Lost Box. It was only about an 8% share in Sacramento, and you saw that Lugia ended up winning the tournament. So I think that Lugia is probably a solid call. I know that Mew just won Lily. Mew's kind of like always that 4th or 5th deck you want to bring to an event just in case. But I would say those are probably going to be the 3 to 4 most popular decks going into this weekend.
Okay. What about you, Jay? You same 3 decks or different?
A little different. Pretty similar. I think Lost Box, Lugia, or like Lost Box decks in general, Lugia, which is at this point gonna predominantly be the colorless version. Like 80% of the Lugias will probably be that or more. And then Miraidon for me is gonna be the 3rd biggest because You know, people love them some Maridon.
Third most popular deck for Rhydon, bro. I want to bet on that.
I
Like,
think
I
so.
want to bet you like a Snickers or something. Is that?
One of the green ones, right? The Halloween with the green in it.
There's a great Snickers.
Yeah, it has like
Halloween.
green like ectoplasm in it for Halloween or whatever.
Bro, I'm about to eat 10 of those after this call. I'm about to go find one somehow.
Some Reptar bars.
All right, Courtney, you have anything to add? Do you want to add your 3 top decks from
No, so
spectators?
I'm-
From hearing these two like talk to you, complain, whine, whatever. What do you think you'll hear them? What 3 decks do you think you'll hear the most from them?
Oh geez. So Lost Box, like number 1, period. Whatever like variant of Lost Box that's going to be, if it's Kyogre, if it's just kind of a normal build, or even like Charizard, that's pretty common. I mean, something that I did and really kind of like looked into for the 2 of these folks last week was I pulled all of the top data from Sacramento and started seeing just different matchups, and like actually put it all together, like compiled into a spreadsheet. And I would agree with Lugia. I think that's pretty fair and accurate. I think Maridon is probably going to be in that 4th slot, if not like tied with Mew in terms of like percentages that we see. But I honestly think that Charizard's probably going to see an uptick. So I'm curious, but that's my guess.
Sure, look at there. I got the numbers and everything. Okay, that is something too. I don't think all spectators do this, but Courtney literally plans everything for these 2 guys, like their travels and everything. Once again, I think this is a very rare occurrence. I don't think all spectators do this, but I think literally had a spreadsheet and was like, we're going to spend $25 at this hotel or whatever, like had all this stuff mapped out. So that's amazing. That's cool.
She's available for hire if any other teams need their season booked out.
Need an
Affordable
accountant.
rate. Just send somebody a message. We'll get you in touch with the through the proper channels.
Like that photographer, like just bring it on.
Yeah, if you just go over metafy.com/court, you can sign her up there. So
Here we go.
Literally.
Okay.
Coach.
Seasoned coach on how to do this. All right, so we talked. Josh touched on just a little bit. We saw Mew win. I think if you were to bet money, nobody would have put Mew win. I don't care what you'd say now, but like, no, Mew was going to win. No, I'd bet you $1,000 you had no shot that Mew was going to win. So we're back in NA. Well, Mew, is that a deck? Should you be concerned? Not concerned? I mean, we know for sure there's going to be one person that plays it. There's always that one person that plays it. We know who it is. I'm not going to leak. I'm not going to say his name. No leaks allowed. I'm not leaking anything. If you don't pay attention to Pokemon, that's your fault. So Jay, we'll go with you first. Will Mew actually see an uptick because it won a little, or people be like, no, the deck's bad. Like, don't worry about it.
I think it's gonna be about the same for every time. Like here's how it works: a Mew deck wins. Some people go, "Oh, Mew's good. I should play Mew," and then other people go, "Well, we can't play Mew now because it just won." So it's gonna be about the same meta share. It's gonna be that like 6 to 8%, just under the radar enough. But I'll tell you another thing is that if they do not hit 2 Charizards on day 1, they're gonna make day 2. And if they hit 0 Charizards in day 2, they're gonna win the event because the deck is so good. If you don't hit Charizard, it's that simple. And it's like I feel so dumb now. All this time for not playing Mew when all we had to worry about was Drapion. Like now, like that Charizard exists, I'm like, man, can we go back to just having to fight off Drapion? But like no, like Mew's good, and that's all. It's matchup based. It's just matchups. If they don't hit a bunch of bad matchups, then they're gonna do extremely well.
Joshua, add anything to that?
I have to agree. So looking at the results of Lil, person who won with Fusion, they hit a Charizard round 2, and their opponent went 2-2-1 drop. The person that got, I think, 9th played 0 Charizards, and it was the same list as the first place winner. So yeah, like if you hit good matchups, like it's a matchup roulette. And I think that's how a lot of players go into event is like, well, if I miss this matchup and this matchup, like I'll be fine. Like if I don't hit 3 bad matchups, it's fine. Because what we see now with the meta is that a lot of decks have like their own bad matchups. Like for example, Lugia. It has a pretty unfavorable match against Miraidon, but if you don't hit Miraidon, it's fine. Um,
Or
I
flip
think
tails
some,
or heads.
yeah, I think some of the top players this weekend will be maybe leaning towards Mew. I know someone leaked on Twitter the other day that Azul was playing Mew. Like they ran into Azul on the ladder and he was playing Mew. So I don't know. And it's also kind of a coin flip whether DTE or Fusion Mew is better. Um,
And he was
Spiritomb and
playing it on
Drapion.
stream the other day. I don't think that means he's playing it this weekend, but
Yeah, I mean,
It
like,
could be an option that he's thinking, but
yeah,
Yeah.
Drapion and Mew or Drapion and Spiritomb are some pretty big cards that can kind of hinder strategies. But um, I don't know. If you feel lucky, you might as well play a luck-based deck, right?
True. Corey, do you add anything to that? You think you will see an uptick in your spreadsheet?
I don't. I think we'll probably see a couple more within like the top players are like kind of like getting into like the end of day 2. That's one thing that was really significant was like I saw the harsh drop off of where certain decks, you know, placed or like did well at. And I think that we'll probably see a few more Mew up in those later rounds, but I don't know that the percentage will be significantly higher. Um, my biggest thing with Mew is the same as these two is that like it's so matchup based and it's so luck based that it's like, you know, a coin flip can determine it. But if you hit the right matchups, like it's a deck that will power through and knock everyone out on the way.
Okay, so matchup base, and I think that is interesting to talk about. Just for a second, is I think more so now. You can always say Pokemon is matchup based, right? Every format is matchup based, right? But I can't remember a time where there was like zero decks. Like this is the best deck, right? Every single time we've had a format, like this, like oh my god, this is the best deck, right? And like yeah, there might have been some of the decks that like had some kind of rumblings, but like everybody said, you can easily name the top 3 best decks. Heck, even the 4th and 5th decks, like, are even the closest top 3. So, is it better to have a meta game where everything's so like matchup depending, right? Like, oh, because there's 16% this, 16% this, whatever. Or is it better to have where there's one huge deck that's taking up like 30-40%, like we had with Lugia last year? Which one do you think is better? We'll go with Courtney first. We'll get your insight on that way. Which one do you think is better? Have one Defiant deck and a bunch of other smaller decks, or just a ton of different like medium to large decks?
It's healthier to have a lot of medium to large decks. Just because I think when you have one Defiant deck, it truly comes down to like who takes the first prize card. When you have so many different decks in the meta like running around, like it even though it's matchup based, I think that even still you can take some skill into that and play into a bad matchup in a way that can help you win. But I think when you have one Defiant deck that will just overpower everything, it gets a little bit rough and then it's just mirrors of that all day every day.
Gotcha. Okay. Jay, how about you? Which one do you prefer?
it's really that's a tough question. It's a multi-layered question. So you brought up Lugia. First of all, the game should never be in a spot like it was with Lugia because it was like tier S plus. Like it was like there literally was no reason to play any other deck. Like it was the deck, and there was nothing that came close. Similar to how like when Fusion Strike came out, you know, for the first 3 months of Mew, like it was just like there was nothing that could touch it. So that's really bad, and it should never be like that. So I would guess I would take what we have now over that. But think back to like a format like where Eviltal was tier S was the best deck. So there were other things that could compete against it, and there were techs that could sway those matchups. Like you could play Virizion Genesect with Raichu for your Eviltal matchup. Those kind of things, even though Eviltal was the clear and away best deck, it still wasn't as oppressive as like Silver Tempest Lugia or like Fusion Strike System format Mew. So yeah, there's a fine line, but I will say that it makes metagaming incredibly difficult now, and it does kind of a little bit feels like it cheapens the experience because I don't want to. If I win the regional this weekend and I dodge all my bad matchups, and somebody says, "Oh well, yeah, he only hit good matchups," like I probably wouldn't be able to disagree. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want anyone to take that away from me. And like, of course, well, I won a regional. You should be happy for me, kind of thing. Of course, like you should always be proud of that. I'm not trying to take that away, but it just kind of sucks when it's like you can look at some of the results and be like, oh, well, that's why so and so got top 16 or got top 8 or whatever, because it's like they didn't hit their bad matchups. So that this format kind of sucks in that sense. I will also say too, I do think we have a clearly defined best deck right now. It is better than all the other decks. The problem is it takes that deck 90 minutes to win a best of 3. So that is not good. That is not good to have either. Because we have a best deck. It just you can't finish a best of 3 with that deck. So that's poor design on someone's part. I don't know what went wrong there, but when the best deck or a viable deck is no longer viable because of the time it takes to win 3 games or 2 games, that's just not acceptable either.
Okay.
I
And good.
into what you were saying though, Jeff, is that like I think the one thing that makes it very difficult, and I hear you saying like it cheapens the experience or kind of takes that away from it, but like I think we probably wouldn't see a lot of that or like as much kind of like dodging your hard matchups if we didn't see the size that we were seeing in regionals.
That's
and like
true. Yeah.
that's more of the concern rather than like the matchup spread. It's more of like the fact that you're going into a regional with 1,800 people, like you very likely could miss your bad matchups just because of the amount of people that's there.
Which that's a whole we could spend a whole other
Yeah, that's a
whole other
yeah.
Can you imagine like back in the day when it was like 200 players, like 20% is Lost Box, 20% Charizard, 20% whatever. Like
you're still gonna hit 2 of them or 3 guaranteed. Yeah.
Josh, how about you? Anything else you want to add to that, or do you have a different answer, I guess, per se?
Not really. I am in the same category. Like, yes, it's super matchup dependent. I was the most miserable person when it came to playing Lugia Mirrors. I was not having a great time. I did not enjoy the game. It really turned me away from it. Well, yeah, no one was
format.
No one was happy about it. They played.
Yeah.
To quote a wise person, don't lecture me on the Mewtwo Wars. You weren't there. I was. Like when when the format was just big basics, and that was miserable. Like we've had some pretty miserable formats in over the decade that I've been playing, but I'm really content with the meta right now. It's kind of becoming a little stale, so it's going to be exciting to see what comes out of Paradox Rift. But yeah, like it's right now.
Honesty,
It's just a lot of variants.
I think that Paradox Rift is just like a couple weeks too late. Honestly, I think that's the problem. Like, I think if Paradox Rift would have came out 2 to 3 weeks ago, 2 to 4 weeks ago, I think we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. Because I think it's a really good set. It's packed with a lot of good stuff, and it's got a lot of kind of shake up the format type cards in it, which is great. So I think we're just like at the tail end of a format right before the next set, and it's just getting stale. I think that's kind of what we're all players and people. I think that's kind of what we're all feeling right now.
So I'm gonna give my input just real quick because I'll be the difference here. I actually prefer when it's like one big deck and like you can like metagame easier. That's when I personally have had my favorite times because it's so easy to counter people and have so much fun. I mean, every regionals I've done well at or every tournament, it's like I won because like I played Hit Paladon, or because I played Vesplume Vileplume, or because I played Virizion Genesect with some text cards, or the Zorak Wars and I played Zorak Lycanroc and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, that to me is like somewhat fun. I don't like the so much like, dang it, I played I played Mew and hit 5 Charizards. Like to me that's, I don't know, not as fun. Where it's like matchup based. So I like knowing that like, all right, 40% of the field is going to be like this one deck, and like I'm going to try my best to play a counter deck because that's what I've always kind of steer towards, but now you really can't build like even like control players now. You see it; they can't even build a deck to beat the metagame when there's 18 different decks out there. Like right, like so you haven't seen Sander do well. Like
I say, poor Sander, what's he playing?
well,
Just playing Mew or like Charizard or something.
as I was saying, like is like multiple tournaments, and we haven't heard. Like I haven't seen anything from him, right? So like,
Yeah.
he's either A, not playing, or B, like chilling the bottom tables with this like Boof. He was playing next to Boufflant card or something. I was like, what the heck does that even do? Like,
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, fun. So I think it does take some of the fun away when there is like one giant meta deck and you can like easily counter that. Like even like the Mewtwo War days, right? Everybody's playing Mewtwo Wars, but you can still have like Mewtwo Darkrai, Mewtwo Trekion, or whatever, like all these different kind of things. But anyways, that's a different topic. I'm trying to think what we could cover that'd be interesting. So Miraidon, I know it's no surprise if you don't know us, we all hate Miraidon. Josh, do you hate Miraidon too? I feel like the answer is yes.
I do, but I've started to respect it a tad more. I don't know. I feel like the there are 3 or 4 decks that we have right now in the meta, and it really feels like you're going to this casino and you're playing the slot machines. You're like, oh, did I hit my generators? Oh, did I hit my path? Did I hit my Mazagoza? Like
it's path.
it's yeah, like I don't think that Miraidon is good because it's hitting for 220 and electricity generators miss sometimes. I think that them getting the path to stick is probably the biggest thing. Like
So
I would love for, Mahone to show up this weekend and not play path and show us all up, but like I don't think it's going to happen realistically.
So here's my question for Miraidon. I'll let Josh start off with it. Do you think we'll see Miraidon in top 8? And if yes, how many? Because I think we saw 1, and then we saw 2. We're close to the Ohio boys, so better watch out.
It depends on if Jesse and Andrew are coming or if JW is coming.
They're coming.
Like it'll be interesting. I know that JW had like an unfortunate list error heading into top 8, and he also got paired against the other Miraidon that was in top 8, which was Jesse. So seeing that one of them knock out each other was kind of like sad. But then it's like interesting to look at like say Sacramento, where like I don't think many people played Miraidon. Like I think the highest seed or like the highest placing Miraidon deck at Sacramento was maybe top 64. Oh, there was one in top 16 or 2 in top 16, but like they couldn't get just over the edge. But maybe with the uptick in Lugia, it could happen. I don't know. It's tough to say. Maybe one in top 8, and that is like a strong maybe.
Yeah, there was 12 Miraidons on day 2 of Sacramento. If you're curious, but you say one. You go 1 or 2. You can't say or.
I'm going 1.
One. Okay.
I think 1 is going to make it, and I would have to. If Jesse is coming to the tournament, it's probably Jesse because he's probably had the most experience with that deck. It'll be interesting to see if they swap off the deck anytime soon, but I doubt it. So.
All right, Court, you're next. How many, statistically speaking, how many Miraidons are going to be top 8?
Gosh. So in top 8?
Yep, top 8. We're not day 2. We don't care about day 2. Anybody can make day 2 with whatever.
Maybe 1.
1 to top 8. No,
yeah, so I mean,
no,
like,
maybe
it's. I'm just saying the highest placing one in Sacramento was at 11th. So 1. I will stick with 1.
All right, question: are you looking that up, or do you just have that on memory? How did you just know that? Like,
I have my spreadsheet right here.
There we go. There we go. All right, Jay, you going 0, 1, or 2 for Miraidon?
I can't go anything more than that.
You can say 8. I don't care.
8 of them. No, 0. It's the 3rd best path deck. Just play a better deck. It's literally the 3rd best path deck. I don't get it. I can't get it. I've played 1,000 games of this game of this format, and I don't get it. No, 0.
I will
And
stick
when
behind.
there's more than 0, I still will not understand how.
I will stick behind my one, and I will say that it's Jesse Parker.
Can you imagine 3 regionals in a row making top 8 with Maridon just hitting the like god matchups?
I mean, he's
Yeah, like
clearly the best Maridon player, and that group is clearly the Maridon group. But like, God
Yeah.
only knows what they could do if they played a real deck. Like it'd be like 1,
of
2,
course
3.
to
It'd be
be
a number
reckoned
4.
with.
Top 4 would be Mahone, Zealy, Jesse, and JW every tournament if they played something else.
It's interesting too. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the guys. It's weird that they went from Mew to Maridon. They went from like Super Gamble to Super Gamble. Like, let's play this lot, boys. Let's go. Like
They literally, yeah,
And
they're
I
mass
don't risk
kids.
youth reward. Like,
You cannot deny the results. I mean, collectively, how many championship points do they have that deck? The 4 of them. But like, I don't know. I'm calling 0. I get it.
That's fine. So
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna go 0 as well. I'm gonna go 0 too.
Sure.
Anyways.
Maridon has collectively earned 851 points
With Jesse making
and
600
almost
Right.
and
oh,
almost
man.
and almost $40,000. So like it
I mean, look, if you told me if Mr. Big Pico was like, hey, Squeaky, look, you're gonna make top 8 and top 4 with Maridon, you better saddle up, kid. We riding that snake in. Come on now, whatever he is. What is Maridon? What is that? What is he? A snake? Is he a?
Dragon.
He's a dragon.
he's like
Yeah.
like an electric dragon.
He is a. I don't want to say any
He's from
words. He's a
he's from the
terrible.
future.
He's a terrible
Not a
dragon.
fan.
He is
Yeah,
a
not
terrible.
fan either.
He's a terrible dragon, dude. If that's a dragon, man, Dragon Tails could probably kick his butt. Like the Dragon of Dragon Tails, whatever. They probably beat him
Yeah.
up. Like that guy was eating a sandwich in the freaking game. Like he ain't nothing. He was crying because his owner like disowned him. Like, bro, what a sad excuse of a dragon. Eat him. Like Charizard did. Like, what are you talking about, bro? What a sad excuse of a dragon, bro. Maridon? Really? Jesus Christ.
Jeff was so mad about the
Don't
sandwich.
get on him.
So,
Yeah.
bro, he is a sad excuse of a dragon, dude. He's an eel. He's a big eel. That's all he is, dude. Floating. That's all he's doing. So, anyways, okay, Jay, you talked about Path to the Peak deck. You know, talk about Maridon. It's good because Path to the Peak. What? You said 3. What are the other 2 decks that play Path to the Peak, and will any of them do good?
So the best Path to the Peak deck right now is Mew VMAX, which is such a strange thing, but it is. And the next best deck that plays Path to the Peak is an Arceus Pile. I don't know the partner. I'm not playing it. I don't. But
It's Maridon. It's Maridon.
I would rather play that than Maridon. Like
it's Arceus Maridon. It's Arceus Maridon.
If you're just gonna play a Path to the Peak and judge me on turn 1, then swing for 180 with a 280 body that searches for 2 cards first, rather than all that generator nonsense. So Mew and Arceus are better than Maridon in my opinion.
Will you think Arceus make top 8?
No.
All right, Court. Do you have any decks in your stats that have Path to the Peak that we don't know about? Like, is there a secret deck out there that's playing Path to the Peak, like Zorak V-Star or something like that?
So what's funny is that I actually talked about doing this, is breaking down like top lists and finding where the variance was in their lists and seeing if there was a list playing something that was odd and strange. But I did not do that because Jeffrey told me not to. So I don't know.
Jeff, you let us down. We could have had stats for like what decks play Path to the Peak. Now we don't have any. Court, from your insight though, is there any other deck that might play Path to the Peak that you just for some reason think it could play it?
I mean, I want to say it's a card in Chain Power. No, like, am I wrong?
It could be. It's your world. No, we're not. No. The question wasn't. Is it play? And my question was, what do you think could play Path to Peak? If you Chip Pound's the answer. Chip Pound's the answer. Let's go.
My biggest thing that I can't even say if it plays like I don't know. But my biggest thing that I want to see more than anything is Darkrai to do well, and I want Ross to be playing it.
Hey,
And if
with
that
the
means playing Path.
with the next set, I will say Darkrai has a better chance of doing well.
Especially if you take all the Darkrai's out and put in Roaring Moon GX. EX.
you only put like one of them for an end gamer, right? You could just squeeze one of them in there for an end gamer. Anyways,
Also,
Ross
we're
do
all
well.
forgetting about Giratina, actually. That's another path deck.
Yeah, I was about
No-
to say.
no, you forgot about it. My next question was to Josh to see if he picked up on anything.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
I was gonna.
Mm.
I was gonna say probably top 3 would be Mew, Lostina, and then I don't know. Miraidon and Arcpile are kind of tied because Arcpile's just a pile of cards. Like
Like,
you're
they're
playing
both bad, yeah.
Arceus and like Charon's Care and like seeing some of the lists out of Lil. Like I know there's a UK player who like really loves Arceus decks, and I think that they played Arcdura, and they got like top 32 with it, but like it was a 1/1 Duraludon.
It
Like,
was. It was.
very strange. Like I'm like, why did we, why do we decide to throw this in here? Like, why not, like,
And they played one.
give me some other VMAX from your binder.
They played one
Like-
Malball too for some reason.
Yeah, these decks are just like, here are 60 cards I found. 7 of them are going to be Arceus V and its V Star. 4 are going to be Path. 1 to 2 Sharon. The rest is kind of up to you. I mean, clearly it can have some good matchups. Like it got second at Sacramento,
The boy.
but I don't know. I just yeah, I think we may see an uptick in Lostina because one of the things that we thought with 151 was going to shake up the meta was Mew EX because Mew EX was strong into Tina. But a lot of decks that we thought Mew EX would be in isn't running it. I think really the only one that's kind of running it is Lugia. So like I don't know. I think Tina has a really strong match into Charizard, because you're swinging for 280, they're swinging for 180. But I don't know. I think Tina could be a dark horse, but it just needs the right pilot, and it needs to not dead draw. So.
All right. Speaking of dark horses, you talked about the Arceus deck. I did look up on Limitless. You can factor in by a card and what includes into the deck already on Limitless. Court, just to let you know. So there's 2 decks I found that had path peaks that we did not talk about. First one is Team Glue. Does that have a shot at all to do well this weekend? Yes or no? Just you don't have to give long answers. Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
If it's piloted by the right pilot, maybe.
He said
No.
no
No.
explanation.
No.
No.
No, that's supposed. Yes or no? All right.
So Josh says yes. Who's the play?
Yeah, sure. I'll go with yes. I'll be the odd one out.
And then the sleeper pick that I definitely should have caught this one was Baynet. We saw it on stream. It did its thing this weekend. It won a game on stream. It got 25th, by the way. It got 25th at Lille. Can we see it do well?
It was a good series.
Can we see it do well this weekend? Yes or no?
In one word, yes.
Whew!
Yeah.
In one word,
Yeah.
yes.
I could see it happening.
Corey, yes or no?
It's possible, so yes.
Jeez. So maybe Baynet, maybe that's a sleeper pick this weekend. You got to look at I don't know how to say their name, but it's Matus Laskowitz. I guess how you say it. I don't know. I know I said that way wrong, buddy. I apologize there, young chap. Has he done anything else? Oh, he's played Vico Vote before. Oh, he's a little.
Big item lock feller there.
Yeah, he's a very controlled player.
Hold on. He won a regionals with Palka Vico Vote. He won $5,000 playing Vico Vote, and he got $1,000 weekend for playing Baynet. Just to let you know, it's more money than I've won Pokemon in a long time. Just to let you know, guys. So Baynet, it can get you there.
Sure can.
Oh, I think I'm gonna add something else. Zorak V-Star. It got leaked. There was a podcast with Zorak V-Star. Is it the play this weekend, Jay? We know you like Zorak, right? You like Zorak, right?
I like the Hisuian more than the regular one.
Sure. Is it play this weekend? Yes or no?
No, absolutely not.
Josh?
Not this weekend.
No, that's fine. Corey, yes or no? Zorg V-Star.
Still a no.
All right. Now, we saw a deck won a regional championship, and I'm surprised my boy didn't have a freaking heart attack and was like, this is the deck I'm playing forever. He literally has it in his freaking background. Jay, you said Arceus is not going to top 8, but yet you have a Gyarados in your background and it just won a freaking regionals. Is Arceus Gyarados going to do well? It's going to do well this weekend or no?
No.
Have you tested
It got
Arceus
second.
Gyarados? Oh, it got
I
whatever. Second place. Whatever.
Yeah, I have, yeah. And no shade on the homie, but I don't know how he did that with that deck.
Because
I
he,
know, like,
okay, here's the reason why.
Played
Because
them
he
all
said Gyarados was his favorite Pokemon, and he actually played it for a tournament. He believed in the heart of the cards. So
I've done that several times and got no points or money to show for it.
Whatever, loser. Anyways, so no on the Arceus Gyarados, Jay. No.
Nope, absolutely not.
Josh is gonna get first place, or is gonna not get anything this weekend?
No.
Dang, y'all haters.
No.
Court.
Nothing.
Jeez Louise, I'm trying to fix some rogue decks here, and everybody's giving the big old finger to them.
It just doesn't draw well. There's not. It just gets really clunky. That's the issue.
Especially with 3 double turbo.
Interesting. Okay, I'm trying to look. Because Zor got 55th. Okay. Gardevoir, how many are going to be in top 8? We've seen mostly just one make in top 8. Will we have more than one this time around? Or we have less or more? Josh, you first.
I think we'll have one.
Just one.
If it hits good matchups, it's 1. If it doesn't, it's 0.
No, that's not the question. You pick one answer. Not tired of these ors. Like, these are not ors.
I like to cover my bases, but
I don't care. We
I will
all
say
know
that-
it's okay. The answer for everything is it depends on the matchups for every deck right now. We got that. Anyways, my question is, how many do you think are gonna make top 8?
1.
Jay.
I don't think it's up to the matchups. I think it's up to the players, and I don't know who's coming. So if there's like about 5 people in the world. If one of them shows up, yes, they will make top 8. Otherwise, no.
So 0.
Yes.
Okay. Court, how many are you making? How many making top 8?
I'm saying 2.
Woo! The first regions with 2 Gardevoirs in top 8. I'm pretty sure.
Mega.
I'm pretty sure that's what I'm looking at. All right. Will Canada win its 3rd regionals? It's got 2 already. We're in Canada. Can it win its own freaking regionals? Courtney, you're first.
No. I think no. I think it's like bound to swap, right? I think we'll take Canada, and then I think Canadians will probably take the U.S. So that's my guess.
Jay, Canada's gonna win, yes or no?
Yes. I think they're favored. They're more likely to win this one than any other, and they've already won 2. So
It's very true.
I'm feeling it.
Josh,
I'm gonna say no. I think.
all right, no, it is. Thank you, sir. All right, let's go. Josh is gonna say once again, depends on who's playing, what matchups they hit. Drake's gonna show up, and then he's gonna win. God, I hope Drake shows up.
I want it to be
No,
the
he's going
player.
back to Degrassi.
Huh?
He's too busy going back to Degrassi.
Somebody just better keep an eye on him and make sure he stays where the masters are.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means at all, but okay. Anyways,
Look it up. Not a good guy.
Drake, bro, he's Memphis, bro. Don't talk about Memphis like that. Come on now.
He's
Yeah,
from
Drake.
Canada.
He's from Canada.
His dad is from Memphis. Thank you very much.
Oh, he was
Or
on
he was
Degrassi.
Huh? He like literally shoots music videos in Memphis. Thank you very much. Anyways, that's a different story. We'll talk about rap later. That's a different story. Is there anything else that we want to talk about? Because like we can talk about the meta, but it's all the same crap that we've seen for the past 3 weeks. Anything else we want to cover? I know it's like a little bit
Can
different.
we talk?
For this one, I got nothing on Toronto. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about in a couple weeks, but I don't
Josh,
know.
what do you want to talk about?
Can we talk about the the championship point requirement?
Nope.
Because,
No,
boy.
we'll do that. No.
Do that after Christmas.
Nope. Yeah, we'll do it after Christmas when like there's only
When
3
three
people that qualified
Yeah.
and like only 50 people got halfway there because it
Perfect.
costs like $8 million to like play Pokemon this year and get points. So,
It's true.
Correct.
Corey, you want to talk about anything else about Pokemon before we go?
Um, I do want to say my biggest input for Toronto, like just remembering last year, is that for anyone who is a bit overwhelmed by significant like sensory things, they did not have it laid out super well for people who get overwhelmed by large crowds of people, and it's
It's true.
very, very loud. So like I did well having noise canceling headphones on, but like I honestly couldn't stay in the room with all the players for very long because I would get super anxious. So that's a big tip going into it, is like just if you need earplugs, or if you want to get like loop earplugs or anything like that where it just dampens the sound, I would highly, highly recommend that.
Yeah.
And be careful not to break those chairs too.
Oh my gosh, they're
Oh yeah.
so
It's the
bad.
worst chair
Yeah,
I ever sat in my life.
if you have a wide rear end like some of us on this hat, just be ready because those chairs suck.
Yeah.
I broke one. Like I'm convinced I broke one.
Can you imagine middle plane just fall on the floor?
Yes, because it
Yes.
happened.
Yes.
Like
They're that bad.
I will say, hopefully, it's not at the end. I remember it was at the end of the convention center, like by itself, right? It was at the end one, and like
Yeah.
there was no space at all for like any parent or something like that. I remember talking to a Poke parent, and they were telling me like, this is a different spot than last year, the year before. So hopefully, they're back to where they
Hopefully.
were. Because I did hear from a parent that it wasn't a different spot than the previous years, which I'm
Yeah,
not
and
saying
there's-
anything. So.
There wasn't a lot of like food options. That's the other thing that was a little bit tough, is like just make sure that you kind of have lined up at least a plan going into it of like what you're going to do for food, because a lot of people had to DoorDash or do like Jimmy John's where it was a quick delivery. So that was one thing I remember struggling with, was like the food options as well.
It's also
What's wrong?
supposed to snow in the province of Ontario on Monday. So if you're traveling, get out of there, be safe.
Yeah, and back to you said the food thing, like it is like in a convention center where nothing else is around, because there's like a
Yeah.
baseball or soccer field over there. There's a Coca-Cola museum, and like it's like right next to the interstate or freeway, whatever they call it there. I don't know, a
Yes,
road.
and the lake. So
Yeah. So like there's literally nothing like by it. So like just get
Mhm.
prepared for that. And then like the best parking for me that I had was to park underneath it. It is more expensive.
Yeah.
But it is nice just to park underneath it to get elevated up and down, like literally go there. So, Josh, anything else you have for Toronto?
have fun, experience things. I love Canadian snacks. They have a lot of good candy options. If you enjoy caffeine,
I was about to
caffeinated
say the
beverages.
caffeine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you like caffeinated beverages, a lot of them have been pulled from the shelves because they don't meet the FDA standards for Canada. They have too much caffeine in them. So you might want to bring your own.
Recall on a bunch of caffeine beverages. So
Smuggling,
so just be on the lookout for that.
Smuggling illegal sodas. There we go. That's your advice you just gave.
If you have time, there's a lot of cool things to do in Toronto, like the CN Tower, the aquarium. For us U.S. folks who had good days remembering Toys R Us, there's some Toys R Us's in Canada, so take some time. If you don't do well at the event, or even if you do well, take some time to kind of explore, because I think that's probably what I have the most fun doing when I go to events, is just exploring and seeing what I can get into. So yeah.
Tidbit: if you are going to CN Tower, it literally is like you could buy a 2-for-1 special for like the aquarium and CN Tower. They're literally like on top of each other. So, Jay, anything else you want to add about Toronto?
nope, I got nothing. Good luck, have fun, free Gino.
There we go. You want to y'all can do your Twitter shout outs. I don't know. Jay gets mad at me every single time he uses his Twitter picture, but it's literally his Twitter picture.
My picture. I just updated it during this recording.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
please check that before you.
Okay.
No, follow me on Twitter, Darth like the Sith, Mr. J. We can argue on there. That's all I got.
Court.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
fine.
Josh, you can go first. Look, I don't care.
No, it's my
No,
turn.
let her go first.
So my Twitter is at ckarst12. So karst is, people struggle with it. It's KARST 12, and then my like banner photo is a Jigglypuff looking up through a basketball hoop. So I love it. Jigglypuff's my Pokemon.
Is it your favorite Pokemon?
Absolutely.
There we go. We already know Jay's. It's pretty obvious, I think.
All right, Josh.
You can find my Twitter at Josh_O_so_fine. I'll probably change it soon because it's long. But yeah, if you want to, argue with me, please do. I enjoy the company. So.
And if you see Josh this weekend and he doesn't have a wig on, smack him in the back of the head for me. You're
Please
allowed.
take photos of me. Please take photos to confirm that I did or did not wear a wig.
You're allowed to smack him in the back of the head. I gave you approval. So if you get banned for Pokemon, I can't help you in that part, but you'll be okay. So, anyways, this is where I would have like background music playing, like an outro. A little fade out kind of cool thing. Thanks for listening, Team Fish Knuckles. Whatever. Maybe we'll have these guys on here outside of just regionals. Maybe we'll talk about, I don't know, the new set or whatever. Maybe Josh wants to go to rant about how A Million Points sucks at Pokemon this year. I'm like, it does, and we'll talk about that too. But anyways, guys, good luck this weekend. Have fun. If you see these three knuckleheads, say hello. I will not be there because I'll be probably drunk, just to let you know. So anyways, have a great weekend. Good luck, and see you Monday. Bye.